Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am Dr. KHAILFANI Rivers. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, and spent the majority of my life there. Although I've traveled around the country, I have yet to travel around the world. And so this is actually my first cruise, and I'm enjoying it tremendously. But I really didn't feel the energy of the cruise until I went into the workout room. So I'm working out, and I got that ocean right in front of me, and that's when I start feeling, okay, this is a cruise now. I get to get my breath together and get this beautiful environment. So that really put me in a good space. So I'm happy to be here and to share what I've lived, which is the life of sound. And so we're going to deal with sound therapy and aura cleansing today. And so let's first talk about what is your aura and what is it made up of. The aura is, if you look at the ancient Oriental energy, which is actually a much more ancient African energy, and the sister has a representation of it on, it's called the Yin and Yang sign. And that Yin and Yang represents two things basically. It represents what's called complementary or opposing forces. And those forces are the dark and the light. And what's beautiful about the Yin and Yang is that even though you have one side of it is dark, it has a little bit of light in it. And one side is light and it has a little bit of darkness in it. And what that energy is that there's no such thing as anything that lives that doesn't have both the masculine and female principle combined in it. And so each of us, we would not be alive today if we did not have that energy. And it's represented by so many things, by the breath, the inhale and the exhale. There's not just exhaling, or there's not just inhaling, there's inhale and exhale. And that's the yin and the yang, the male and the female, light and dark. So all these opposite energies create the type of vibrational frequency that creates life. And so in sound therapy, we concentrate on these forces tremendously. And for us, they're first represented by what we might call sound and light, which is basically, again, the same thing, but a dual principle. And so in the sound vibration, I would call that the yin, or the dark, the female, and the yang would be the light, the sun, and the energy of that vibration. So the first thing that we learn how to do in this sound therapy vibration is to breathe. So I would like everybody to stand. And so whichever hand is comfortable for you, place one of your hands over your abdomen and just get acquainted with your energy there. And now let's collectively take an inhale through your nose. And as you inhale, stick your stomach out a little bit. And now let's exhale. And as you exhale, suck it in a little bit. Don't strain, but just suck it in a little bit. And that's inhale again, inhale. And exhale. And let it sink in. Try to make your exhale a little bit longer. That's inhale. Try to have a real long exhale. Inhale. Now as long as you possibly can, just let it come out slow. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, and now that I got you standing and breathing, because breathing, of course, is one of the most powerful things that we can possibly do. Without breath, there is no life. And even the momentary absence of breath creates a lot of confusion in our energy. And if you go without 3-4 minutes without breathing, well, most people would faint after a minute, definitely 2 and 3. And some sciences say you will never recover if you go 5 to 10 minutes without oxygen to your brain. And so that's how powerful this force that we're dealing with in this breath is. It is the key to our whole understanding of everything. It ignites everything in us that we need to have ignited. So in sound therapy, we want to fuse the cultivation of the breath with whatever we're doing. That's why we first start off with the diaphragm breathing. And understand that the things that we're talking about today should not be looked at as a class or something that you're taking away temporarily. You should look at this as keys to the universe and take this home with you and practice this. Because if you don't take nothing else of what we're going to talk about today, but this simple thing about this diaphragm breathing, you have an extraordinary gold mine in this situation. Most people that I teach this breath to can develop what's called a six-pack in probably 3 weeks to a month. In 1 week, you'll have this working out. In 2 weeks, you'll be right here. And in 3 weeks, you'll have this right here. And all you have to do is do this breath about twice a day and for about 10 minutes, and that six-pack will open up for you and put you on a whole nother level. So this area of our body, of course, is the key to our life. So when we're breathing like that, we're actually taking the chi from the universe, bringing it into our system, and because this is where our resistance is, this is where our concentration is, the majority of that chi comes down to this area and feeds your vital force. So again, if you don't learn nothing else from what I'm dealing with today, knowing how to feed your vital force, knowing how to create that six-pack vibrational energy for yourself, learning that the breath is the total key to changing your consciousness and putting your energy on another level. If I had just been in a real bad argument with someone that I love, and so I'm frustrated because I love them, because sometimes we don't care about a person, we don't care if we argue with them. But if you care about somebody and you've had an argument, you'd be a little bit disjointed. So if you really care about somebody and you've been arguing with them and they misrepresented you and don't understand you, just so frustrated, it's time to start breathing. If you've left a job that you couldn't wait to get out of and walked away from, and you consider not ever going back, and you start picturing the people you want to knock in the head, it's time to start breathing. And if you got a goal that you want to reach in your life and it seems kind of lofty, but yet you're going to get there, and it might take all your energy, it's time to start breathing. Because when we breathe, we reconnect with our vital force again. And it is through this life force that we accomplish everything. It's activated by our thoughts, and it's activated by our breath. You put them two energies together, and there's nothing that you can't accomplish. Because the breathing will feed your energy on such a level that your thoughts will just become so powerful and so magnetic. And things that you instinctively need, not just things that you desire through the senses, you smell something, you taste something, you desire something, but the things that the universal force know you need, those things come first. And then other vibrational energies come in. So again, if you don't learn nothing else, learn this breathing vibration, because it will connect you to everything. It doesn't matter what kind of diagnosis you didn't have or what you're thinking on your mind. If you can get your thoughts towards, you know what, I want to change this, then change the way you breathe. Change the way you breathe, and you change your consciousness, you change everything. You become a baby again. I've heard this, and I almost want to excuse myself for saying it, but when I first heard about being born again, it was a vibration that I perceived as being something that was wonderful and beautiful. But then when I saw people coming down the aisle and they did whatever ritual they was going to do and they were born again, but yet after church they had the same activity, the same energy, and then certainly 2 and 3 weeks later they might even been worse than before they were born again, I realized that something didn't happen in that born again for them. And so what can happen for us in the born again is that when you stop and you breathe from that diaphragm, this is your opportunity to be born again. It doesn't matter what people used to say. It doesn't matter what you've been told. It don't matter if your feet hurting, leg hurting, back hurting, head hurting, fingernails hurt, I ain't got no money. You can start over and be born again. And in the richness of influencing the most wonderful thing there is. In fact, somebody quickly, and forgive me for saying this, but raise your hand because I don't want everybody to say it at the same time. But what's the most important thing there is in the whole universe? What's the most important thing there is? What's the richest element there is in the whole universe? Nobody's gonna raise their hand?
Love.
Love? Yeah. What? Oxygen, breath, yeah. I'm putting a big category. I'm gonna call it health. Health is wealth. Ask Rockefeller. Ask those who have been noted and put in newspapers as having so much money. They've done some tremendous and even hideous things to try to maintain their health. Because without health, you operating from a very low frequency. You operating from some vibrational energy that it causes you to struggle just so tremendously. So again, it don't matter if your feet hurting, your knees hurting, your butt hurting, your female organs, your internal or your chest, the cancer, diabetes, the breath will change all of that. Your chi will change all of that. And think of this beautiful thing. Aren't you breathing anyway? Ain't that something you gotta do? So why not cultivate it? Why not put that thought vibration on it and change your whole circumstances for the rest of your life? Okay? So now that we know how to breathe, I want to cultivate it a little bit further. And I'm a stickler for putting people on punishment, so I want you to come up here, sister. Yes. And I want you to notice how I'm going to punish you. I'm going to love you by punishing you. Have a seat right there. And I want you to play the drum for me because you're going to keep a beat for me. Yeah. And I need you to tilt it a little bit forward so you can get into that bass part of it. And then just make this sound here. Hit it like, for instance, I want you to trade hands, so no hands, yes, only one hand at a time should be on the drum. Right, and you lift it, there it is. But this is what I want right here. I want, listen. Okay, here we go. I want this right here. Yeah, it's almost like a heartbeat. There you go, there you go. Now I need everybody to stand once more time. And like a dance class, I just want you to watch me for a second, then I want you to mimic my movements. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a sacred space by stepping into it. And it's called stepping into the circle of power. And as I step into the circle of power, now I want to sit in the seat of power. And as I sit in the seat of power, I want to raise up that duality that I said all life has in it, called these opposite hands that I got right here. One energy palm up and one energy is palm down. So let's try that. I want to step back, and then I want each of us, take a step back so you know you have room to step forward. And so what I want you to do now is just take a small step forward and step into the circle of power. Now, while squatting down into the seat of power, raise up these opposite hands and try to mirror my hands. Mirror me, which means this hand should be turned over right there. There you go. All right? And yeah, turn over like that. Okay, now notice that on my down, palm down, I can see my fingernails. And let's turn them over for a second. And because I'm blessed, I got fingernails on that side too. Okay, so let's turn it back again. Now, what I want you to do is, since we sit in the seat of power, I want you to inhale. And as you exhale, follow your fingernails in this direction. Just keep your focus on your fingernails and put it all the way to your side. That's called 45 degrees. Now inhale and turn it over. And now as you exhale, turn it over means turn to the opposite. Come back this way. Flow with me. There you go. Turn it over. And flow. Inhale. And now I'm going to go straight behind me. Watch me. I'm going to go straight behind me without moving my feet. Straight behind. And then turn over. Inhale. And I exhale. And I'm going again. And I'm going straight behind me again. I can punch me. Okay. Turn it over again. Let's go. Now watch this thing called heel toe. I'm going to pivot on my heel, that front heel. And now I'm going to turn and go all the way to the opposite on this wall here. And let's come back. And now this is why I got to get us all together. Step back out to circle power. And this is another thing. If you're tired or whatever happened or you want to stop, come out of that sacred power, because you want to keep that as a sacred space. You anointed that. So you want to keep it like that. So if somebody interrupted and you talking or whatever, then you can step out of that and start talking. If your leg hurt or you got to pull something off or something, step out of that. Because when you anoint that, you will only do your work in that place there. So again, that's all step into the sacred circle. And now raise those opposite hands and mirror my hands. That means that, yes, that's it, that's it. Turn yours over, meaning the opposite, yes. Give me the opposite, just flip them over. Yes, there you go. Give me the opposite right there, brother Jeff. Yep, opposite, yes. Now let's everybody go this way. Inhale and exhale, and 45 degrees, there you go. Turn yours over, sister, and you'll be right. You're going right, there it is. Now inhale, and turn them over, and come back this way. And follow the fingernails, watch your fingernails. And going 45, which means straight to your side. Now turn them over. Opposite, that means trade winds. Now I'm going 90 degrees. Remember that was straight behind me without moving your feet. And turn them over. And come back. Straight behind you again, that's 90 degrees. Come over. Means trade. Stop in the circle right there. Now watch how I do this heel toe thing. Just look at me for a second. Now I'm following my fingernails, which means I'm going that way. All I'm going to do is put my weight on my yin hand, my yin leg and yin hand, and get on that heel and start twisting around. And I'm going to twist all the way to this side here, and then come back, and now go all the way the other way. Trade, which means change breaths. Always move on an exhale. It's like the wind is powering you. Stop in the circle, right? Stop in the center. Stop in the center. Okay, now this time I really need you to watch me. And if you lose your balance, please come out of it and catch your balance. I've seen some people throw themselves to the floor, and we don't want to do that. So watch this. I'm going to do what's called 360 degrees. This is 45. This is 90. When I turn all the way from this side to that side, that's 180. And of course, coming all the way back this way is 360. So watch how I do the 360. I'm going to step into my circle of power. I'm going to display my opposites by sitting in my seat. And because my fingernails on this side, this is the way I'm traveling. I'm going 45, 90, 80. Now, notice I can't stay flat-footed. So I'm leaning even on the side of my feet, and then I just point back that way. That's how I get 360. By putting the fingernails right back to that origin point. Come out of it by trading my breath, and then I'll do the opposite. Well, let me go and do the opposite. And I'm taking my time. And I had to come all the way on the side of my feet. If I tried to stay flat-footed, I'll be throwing myself down, tripping myself. So I had to come on the side of my foot even, bend over, and come back this way. Now we're all going to do it. So wherever you are, step back a little bit. And now step into the circle power. Display the opposite and sit in the seat of power. Watch where my hands are because you're going to follow me. And then here we go. Start on that heel toe. Start turning. You should be around 180. Now just make sure your arms, your head ain't even got to make it. Your arms, yes. That's what counts. You know your head ain't quite there. Your arms, that's what counts. And come back. Now we're going the opposite way. Twist your feet as best you can. Squat down a little bit. Don't try to stand up straight. Squat a little bit and point your arms back towards the front, me. 360 will be coming back towards me. There you go. And then come back. And then let's stop. Okay, I'm gonna let you get a little workout. You did your little punch. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And remember this for the future. If you're late for something, there will be consequences. Go ahead. And that's in life, too. So. Now, if your intention is totally divine, then you're on time. If you procrastinate and slowing down lazy, that you're late. Okay? Okay, now, let's do this for the last time in this exercise. That's step back. That's step into the circle of power. Display the opposites. Inhale. Now let's go 45 first. Without moving our feet, 45 degrees. Exhale. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Turn them over, that means trade. And then come back. You should be always exhaling when you're moving. And then turn them over again. Now we're going 90, which will be straight behind you without moving your feet. 90 degrees, just pointing straight behind you. Turn them over, trade. Inhale, and you come back the other way. Without moving your feet, go straight behind you. Exhale, inhale, and then exhale again. And now we're going 180, which means you start turning till you're going to be pointing back towards this other wall over here. Yes, there it is. Inhale, and now exhale and start moving again. We're going 180. Inhale, trade them over, come back. And now we're going 360. Try not to throw yourself down. 360 will be pointing back towards me. When you point back towards me, you're 360. Yes, and all you gotta do is point. If your head don't make it, don't worry about it. Let your hands and arms make it. Turn it over, inhale, come back. Come back around. That's good. Fade until you make it. Point towards me. There it is. Turn it over. Come back. Come down and stand up. Step back out to circle power. Give yourself a hand. You did a great job. Have a seat. Now, KHAILFANI, I thought you said this was aura cleansing. Well, when we talked about the breath being one of the most powerful components that you can cultivate, there's nothing higher that can cleanse your energy like your breath. And when you moving, you creating like a siphon. You creating your own trade winds. And so that energy starts siphoning and mixing up, and that chi starts tumbling. And as you inhaling through your nose, you perfectly filtering that energy into your vibration. And then the twists and turns you're making is where that chi is going to be flowing. And let me just quickly show y'all a secret. Brother, let me use you for an example. I want to show y'all a secret. This would encourage you to come to my next sound therapy session too. This secret I'm about to show you. It might even encourage you to come to Chicago and do some stuff with me, and then I'll talk to Alicia because she can probably take us around the world. We can meet somewhere else. What I want you to do, I want you to emulate like you're an attacker who's really mad at me and you want to strangle me. Now, let me caution you. Don't actually take me out here today, okay? Because guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to be going out, you are, okay? So don't actually take me out, but just kind of, fake like you're trying to strangle me, okay? So go ahead on and attack me. So let me show you what I did. When he came toward me, just before he got to me, I stepped to him. I stepped into my circle of power. When I squat down, I rooted myself with the earth. Come here, and so I can show people what I did. So then he put your arms on me and started strangling. He started putting his force on me. So the more force he put on me, that's how much he gonna get back, because I'm gonna exert the same thing no matter what he do. So put a little force on there. So what I did is I raised my opposite hands. I didn't try to grab him and strangle him back. I raised my opposite hands and then put some force on me for real. And what I did then, I just took him 45 degrees. I took him, and that's what that 45 degrees is for. Let me do one more. And this time, I kind of want you to kind of rush me a little bit and strangle me, so go ahead. So now I'm taking him 90 degrees. Now the way that I can really fail him, so I ain't got to worry about him no more, is to take him all the way like 180. And if I take him 360, then it's over with. It's over with. So thank you for that. Yes. So inside of the exercise for health is also your self-defense system. And it's not, you notice I didn't attack him. It's based on somebody being aggressive towards me. Okay? And they can come from any angle, because we got 360 degrees coming. He could have came from behind me and I just would have did like that. I'm still would have squatted down. I still would have swirled. I still would have had my hands like this, and he still would have moved. Whether he outweighs me by 10 pounds, 50 pounds, or even 300 pounds, everything has a balance point. And when he attacked me, he's out of order and out of balance. And when I squat down, I'm in balance. And so when balance meets out of balance, balance gonna win, okay? And then there's a lot of movements we can do from that I'll show you at another time. Again, incentives for coming back. But what they got to do with aura cleansing? Because you're still dealing with the breath, you're still cultivating, and now you even got the confidence of somebody coming at you with some type of nonsense. You got your confidence because the way you live, working out, you're already ready for stuff. All you got to do is just breathe naturally and go through the vibrational frequency of it. Meditation is superb for aura cleansing because in meditation, again, is where you get your new identity. It's where you shape shift and become whatever it is you need to become. But in order to become something, you have to become first the material that can be changed. So in doing that, you have to calm yourself down. And so everybody can sit in their seats comfortably as what's comfortable for them. And again, it starts with a breath. So that's everybody inhale. And when you inhale, stick your stomach out a little bit. And now exhale and suck it in a little bit. And now inhale. Exhale. Inhale, stick it out. Exhale, suck it in. And now you can open your eyes and just return to normal breathing. And let me ask a question. Have you done any color bath things, like talked about colors and things of that nature? Okay. Not really? Okay. So I just don't want to give them something that they might have already gotten. What we're going to talk about is meditation. And in this form of meditation, I want to connect you to your chakras. Again, we're going inside, and we're going to deal with powerful energy that's inside of ourselves. And so what I want you to do is I want you to inhale, and as you inhale, close your eyes, and now exhale, and return to normal breathing with eyes still shut. And what I want you to do is I want you to imagine the base of your spine, all the way down at the bottom. And what we're going to imagine there is the color red, bright red, because that's the first chakra. And it deals with putting ourselves totally in tune with the universe, grounding ourselves. That's where our survival energy comes from. That's where our thriving energy comes from. That's where our courage and our substance comes from, that vibration. So just put your thought and your energy in that area and give it a little energy with your breath. Let's take an inhale. And now exhale and blow your breath toward that energy and excite that vibration. Give it its power. Picture that red. And now what we want to do is we want to take that and transform that red energy into an orange energy. And as it transforms, cause it to move up like a ball of fire coming up and stop it just 1 inch below your navel. So you got this orange ball, like an orange, a real orange. And I want you to look at the intensity of the color orange. Really concentrate on that bright color. Because as you do that, you're opening up in your vibration the energy of orange and the energy that rules that chakra, which is the love energy, the Kundalini's greatest element. Because when we have love inside of us, it's so stimulating, it's so magical. So let's take a deep breath together again. Let's inhale. And then exhale and stimulate that love energy right there just below the navel. Look at that color orange as best you can. Even if it's flickering on you, you still are intending to put that energy there. Inhale once more and exhale. get the power of Oshun. Get the power of Heteru. Get the power of divine creativity. Embrace your divine creativity. Inhale once more. And notice I'm giving us a lot of energy here because when you connect with a leg bar, exhale, this is how you connect to everything. Most great rituals start off with a homage to a leg bar or a shoe. And so now I want you to take that fireball yellow and move it up just a little, I'm talking about inches because it's going to stop right at your heart, and transform it into the color green, rich green. Beautiful green, balancing green. Feel that green right at your heart, bringing balance and strength and power. And now that's really activated by inhaling. And as you exhale, blow that right on that green vibration at your heart. Let's inhale once more. And exhale on that heart chakra. Now let's bring it up one more time. Remember, it's a green ball. It's like the size of a big lemon or a big baseball. And bring it up and let it stop right at your throat. For me in that area, they would call it the Adam's apple. So women, you know how to approximate that. Let it stop right there. It's a powerful gland right there. And we're going to activate it by transforming that green ball into the color blue. Sky blue, pretty rich blue, soft blue, healing blue, trance blue. Now inhale and exhale and stimulate it. Let your breath surround it right at your throat. Let it activate its power. Let's inhale once more and exhale. Now we're going to inhale again, and as you exhale, I want you to move that blue ball up to the center of right between your eyes. So let's do that. Let's exhale and move it to the center of our eyes. Right there where they call it third eye, right between your eyebrows there. And transform the color to violet, to some kind of pretty light purple. Sometimes you might even want it to be lavender. And just concentrate on that color, because when you can see that color, you've activated it. And if you even can't see it quite that well, then again, your intention still gets you there. So let's inhale and exhale and stimulate our third eye. That chakra point is so divine because that's where our great connection is. But it also comes from having been connected to those other chakras we went through. It's like spark plugs. If one of them bad, the whole car runs sluggish. So let's inhale again and exhale right at that third eye. Open up that deep eye, that mystery eye. Let's inhale once more. And then we're going to go right where your front scalp line would be. Let's go about 1 or 2 inches back and activate that pineal gland, that master gland, and transform it to the color indigo, which is almost like black. It's a real deep blue, almost indistinguishable by black, except it has this aura of a bluish light coming from it. You might even want to put some stars in there, like a midnight sky. Yeah. Let's inhale and activate that master gland by breathing on it. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And now this time, even though we're at that top gland, I want you to activate that color green again. Because what we're about to do, we're about to bring balance to every part of our energy. So even though we're up there at the master gland, transform that ball into the color green, rich green, healing green. And let's inhale again and activate it. You're still up at that master gland because that's where we're getting all our energy from. We're going to carry everything the body needs from that, the secretions of that gland. And now, at your own speed, knowing what you need for your system and your body, let that green ball begin to descend and spread its life force throughout your entire being. You might even want to personally stop it at some point that you know needs a little extra energy. And know that when you inhale, you're cultivating that force, and when you exhale, you're releasing this energy into your bloodstream. So breathe at your own rate. Focus on the energy that you know your system needs uniquely. Don't worry about the other sounds that are out there because we live in a world that's full of things. And we can get our food no matter what's going on. And so let's do a breath together. Let's inhale. And now wherever you got that green ball, activate it by exhaling and releasing that energy into your bloodstream. The blood goes to every single part of the body. The nervous system goes to every single part of the body. That's why another part we want to hook up that Alegba energy because it governs our nervous system. And there are nerves everywhere. That's our connector. That's inhale and exhale. And now let's return to normal breathing. But I want you to take that ball and let it rest where you feel you need the most energy. And do the breathing at your own rate. We're just going to do this for another minute, but I want you to focus on it. You'd be surprised how much power you can get in a minute. You can get mad in a minute. You can get glad in a minute. You can get sick in a minute. You can get well in a minute. Let's get well. Let's do a collective inhale. And now wherever you got that ball, activate it with your exhale. And let's sink into the great silence. And return to normal breathing. For 3 minutes. What if you had this wonderful pie cake that you love and you was allowed to eat it for 3 minutes? Wouldn't you get it in? Let's get our divine power in, even if it's for 3 minutes. Let's do a collective inhale. And this time as you exhale, I want you to slowly open your eyes. Slowly open your eyes at your own rate. Slowly open your eyes. Slowly open your eyes. Come back. Come back. Slowly come back. Come back. Slowly come back. Come back. Let me check my time here. We got 7 minutes. We got enough time to get it in. Sister, may I ask your name?
Aura.
That's right. I ain't gonna ever forget that again. Because I love aura and light. Aura, could you come forward? Could you pass this out to everyone and make sure everyone has some type of musical instrument? Mm-hmm. And don't take a long time picking one because we only got a few minutes. And we're going to do this again, those of you who want this kind of energy. So I'm gonna play just a little bit so when you get your energy, you can join in with me and just warm up a little bit. And I want to mention that time thing again, not because I'm trying to beat anything in the ground or make anybody feel any kind of way, but we definitely need to be on time, because the teachers that are here with you on this trip have some extraordinary insight, some extraordinary power, and some extraordinary gifts. And if you miss one word of it, you're missing it. And if you get all those words, you got enough to store up and to really do something powerful with. And as you take that discipline of being on time together, we just get so much done. We can get so much done. So practice getting in there when you agreed to be in there. Keep your word. Keep that word of power flowing. Okay, we're going to begin the beat. So right now I just want you to play free. Whatever it is that you feel, just play with me. So we're going to pick the beat up. And repeat after me. Eguna lafia. Eguna lafia. Pick it up. Can you please stand? Please stand. Any kind of movement you want to make, whatever you do is correct. Make some kind of movement. down a little bit. Repeat after me. Egun na lafia. Egun na lafia. Alafia egun. Alafia egun. We love you, great ancestors. We love you, great ancestors. Welcome, great ancestors. Welcome, great ancestors. Bring it down, bring it down. Keep playing, but bring it down. Bring it down. Let it fade out. Bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. And then one last shake. Ashe. Thank you, great ancestors. Join us, great ancestors. Anoint us, great ancestors. Anoint us, great ancestors. We love you, great ancestors. We love you, great ancestors.